So welcome everybody to the 107th NLP Hypnosis Meet Up. Tonight we are joined by a gentleman with a wealth of knowledge in his field. He's a very obviously passionate about his field kind of a guy, which you're going to figure out very, very quickly. He's a very easy chat to get along with. I was introduced to Stuart by Rich. Thank you, Rich, a couple of weeks ago. And Stuart and I had a bit of a conversation in a chat, liked the guy straight away, speaking my language. What is that language? Well, Stuart has over 20 years of experience in training and coaching both salespeople, business owners, sales directors, and sales teams across the globe. He's widely considered by many to be an expert go-to guy in the field of sales and training and coaching. And he's also the author of a couple of books, one of them being Can't Sell, Won't Sell, and the other one being Life on the Phone. Excellent. Well, I can't speak about Life on the Phone yet. There it is. But Can't Sell, Won't Sell, an absolutely brilliant starting point for anyone that's afraid of sales, and also a wonderful refresher for anyone in the field of sales to just polish up that gem of a mind of yours. So, Stuart, a very warm welcome to you this evening.
Thank you, Orlando, and thank you for everyone for having me on and getting up at what apparently is some really weird times of the day to listen to me waffle on. So thank you. Yes, as you know, Orlando, so we had a chat a couple of weeks ago, I think, wasn't it? And he's asked if I'd come along because I do a lot of stuff like this because people have this natural fear of sales, shall we say. I mean, we'll do a quick show of hands just for the fun of it. Hands up those who don't like sales. A couple hands going up. Okay, cool, that'll do. Yeah. Now, I hear the phrase a lot because of what I do for a living. People say, "Oh, but I can't sell." And there's a couple of things generally happening there. One of those is they mean they don't fit their stereotypical version of a salesperson. So they're not your standard, pinstripe suit, red braces, sell ice to the Eskimos kind of person. So they think they can't sell because they're not that person. And that's fine. The other thing is people who are running their own business, working for themselves, they'll say to me, oh, but I can't sell. And my question is always, okay, so has your business got customers? And they'll go, well, yeah, of course it has. And then I say, well, then you can sell. You may not know how you did it or what you said to get them to say yes, or consequently how to repeat it and get more of those. But if your business has customers or clients, let me call them, then you can sell in your way. And that's, as Orlando knows and Richard knows, that's kind of how I approach this sort of thing. It's rather than have, right, here's the book, we're going to teach you this method and hopefully it'll work for you. I 100% refuse to teach everyone the same because we are not, so I don't know how many's on screen, I actually have, but so there's a dozen people here, we'll say, and you'd all want to sell in different ways. So what would be the point and the benefit of me teaching you one method to sell? Because it's only going to work for some of you. I made the joke the other day that if I said to all my clients, right, for the first 4 weeks of the training, you're going to have to do 100 cold calls a day, Monday to Friday. I'd probably have no clients because it's a certain type of person that wants to do that. So there's no point trying to say, right, you must do these cold calls, then this, because it's not going to work. You have to look at what's going to work for that person and how they like to sell. And we can all sell. I think it's in the Can't Sell, Won't Sell book, Orlando, where you talk about, when you're a kid and you want an ice cream, you ask your mum and she says no. So you ask dad. If he says no, because you hear what your mum said, you throw yourself on the floor and throw a fit until they say yes. That's sales in a certain form. So we've all been doing it. It's just so we know how to do it. We just have this vision of what sales is and we don't want to be that person. The amount of times I hear people say, oh, I hate sales. Yeah, but unfortunately, the number one skill for any business is the ability to create revenue. If you can't create revenue, I hate to be the down here, but you've got a hobby, not a business. And hobbies don't pay the bills. Just on that wonderful note there. But so when I spoke the other week, I said, look, normally when I do a training session, I ask people 3 questions and give them 5 tips. So I said we'd do that tonight. So I'll crack on those. And, by all means, wave your hand if you've got a yes sort of thing, but, I don't mind if you don't want to do it. So the 3 questions I ask, and it's normally aimed at people who work for themselves, got their own business, that kind of stuff, yeah? That's normally people who come to me. And the first question is, are you good at what you do? It's a nice, easy question, and say, feel free to, wave and say, yes, I am, are you good at what you do? And generally people will say yes. Otherwise that business is going to be a struggle, So generally people think they're good at what they do. The next question is, do your clients benefit from what you do? Again, generally they say yes, because I'm good at it and people will benefit when I've done it for them. When I've done their website or I've done their whatever it is, And the third question is, could you sell it to your best friend and still be best friends? That's always a fun one, because everybody goes, could I? Because it's a bit about, well, yeah. But for most people, they're good at what they do. That's why they're working for themselves. Their clients benefit from it, because if they don't, then it's a bit of an odd business. And yeah, they're quite happy to sell it to their best friend to still be best friends, or the neighbor, or whatever else it is, So if you can answer yeses on those three, my normal kind of that is, well, then stop worrying about it. You're good at it. It helps your clients, and you don't feel, dirty when you've sold it. So that's a pretty good foundation to start with. So that's the three questions we ask first of all. Okay. Now, I know I said that I don't teach everyone the same, but in anything, there has to be some sort of foundation. So the foundation for me is literally 5 tips. And I'll go through with you now. I know Orlando and I have spent this, and so myself and Rich, so they'll have heard this before. But for those that haven't, I'll go through them now. And that's kind of what forms the foundation of how I show people to sell their way. And I'm sure, Orlando, we can write these down and email out to people later if they want to see them sort of thing. So that's not a problem. So the first one is, when you are selling, you make it about them, not you. So again, who's had that email or that LinkedIn message or whatever else it is, where someone says, hi, I'm John from such and such a business. We're really great and award-winning, because everyone is these days, apparently. You should really be using us. Here's my diary link. Talk to me. Anybody going to respond in a yes to that? Because most people just go delete, thank you, because there's no effort involved there. There's no there. It's nothing. It's not about you. It's just them firing out 50 of those emails today. Yeah. So tip 1 for me is, make it about them, not you. Sales is about you finding something. They've got a pain point, people often call it. There's a hurdle they're trying to get over, and your job is to see if what you do will help them get over that hurdle. Yeah. So tip 1, make it about them, not you. Tip 2 is build value and urgency. I know it seems a bit obvious, but if you don't build value when you have the conversation with them, then why would they want it? If you build value, but no urgency, they might want it, but they're in no rush. Now, I know we need clients for every month, but if I'm talking to you now, I kind of want it now. Yeah. So build value and urgency. Number 3 is have a conversation. So I actually ban my clients from using the phrase sales pitch, because, and again, I don't know this stuff from the NLP background, but if you call something by a thing, then it is that thing. And that's what you want to do. The amount of times I've listened to calls that people have made, and they'll kind of do the, build rapport, how's the weather, COVID, yada, all this sort of stuff. And then they go and do their pitch. And you can almost hear them make that deep breath. I've got to say it to him now, Whereas if you have a conversation, the whole thing becomes one. So if you call it a sales conversation, that's what you have. Call it a sales pitch, that's what you try and do. So I ban my clients from using the word sales pitch. They say conversation. So have a conversation with them. The conversation you have with them is, as per tip 1, it's about them, not you. So it's about finding out what problems they're facing, how you can help, ideally what you offer will help them, etc. Yeah. Number 4, follow a process. I'm sure we've all heard the phrase, sales is a numbers game, and absolutely it is, but only at a certain point. So once you've got a process that works, now you can repeat that process, and most of the time it'll work. And it'll work because it's in a way that you want to do it. Therefore, it's sustainable because you're okay doing it. It's not me saying 100 cold calls a day. Yeah. So by following the process, now I used to have an ongoing argument with an old sales director friend of mine who would say practice makes perfect. And I would go, well, not really. Because if you're doing it wrong, no matter how many you practice it, it's still wrong, guys. Yeah. So when you get that, when you get it right, you've got your process that now works. Hang on, I did these 5 steps and I got a sale. Okay, there's my process. So you follow your process again and again and again, and then the law of averages. Then sales is a numbers game. Which brings you to number 5, which is don't panic. Which I know is quite a weird one for a sales trainer to say, but actually nobody can sell to everyone. It's just not possible. So there's no point getting upset about it. No, I think the only advice I would give off the back of that is, if you don't get a sale today, do yourself a little favor, stand back and go, okay, what did I miss? What did I say that didn't work? What did I not say that could have worked? That kind of stuff. And then you'll start to, again, build on your process. Right, so if I say that, people don't like that, so I should stop saying that. Yeah? So, number 1, it's about them, not you. Your whole conversation is about you trying to help them. The extra piece of advice on the back of that is don't head into a meeting looking for a sale. Which again, I know sounds weird coming from a sales trainer, but if you go into a 1-to-1 meeting or a 2-to-1 meeting, whatever it is, you go to a meeting thinking, I want a sale, you're making it hard for yourself. You won't get it because your focus is on getting a sale, not on helping them. Yeah? It's almost ignore the whole sale and just have the conversation. Yeah? Because I promise you guys, if you go into this meeting, I'm getting this sale, I want this sale, you have just put a huge wall up for yourself. So if you go into following the first tip, which is about them, not you, you have the conversation, which is number 3, and you build that value and urgency, then you will get more sales. But if you head into it going, I'm going to sell this person, you're making it harder for yourself. Now, just to pick up on the value thing, okay, value doesn't necessarily mean monetary value. Okay, there are lots of insurance is the biggest example of that everything is done on price. We all, when our car insurance comes up each year, we all phone around and find the cheapest price, don't we? And insurance people know that. They know they're fighting against price year in, year out. I was shown something years ago. If you think about a day rate to go into some training, and I say to the guy, okay, it's £600. We've had the conversation. This is one I know what he wants me to do. Great, it's £600 a day. And the guy says, can I do it cheaper? Now, when I first started, I'd gone, oh yeah, of course, But then I got told off by a management consultant. And now, the first time I did it, I kid you not, I had my fingers crossed behind my back when I did it. So I said, for example, £600 a day, and he said, you do it cheaper. I said, of course I can. What do you want me to leave out? He went, oh, nothing. So, okay, well, that's fine. But for me to do all the things I'm going to do, it's this amount of money. If I'm going to do it for less, I can do that, but I can't do all the things we've said. My heart was going like, I don't know what, I say, fingers crossed my back. And he went, oh, okay, that's fair enough. Hey, it worked, but it's having that confidence. And this is why I asked those 3 questions. Are you good at what you do, and do your clients benefit? So have the confidence in what you do and the fact that you are good at it, and set your prices. If you start getting sales because you're undercutting, somebody will undercut you. If you start messing with price, you'll lose on price. So don't see value as monetary value. There's a analogy we do when they said, well, how much is it? So what do you mean, the price or the cost? Because the price is the amount you're going to write on the check. Check. Just show my age. Yes, we write checks. Sorry, the online payment you're going to make, is that better? So the price is the amount of money you're going to pay for the service. The cost is what it will cost you to not do it, as in stay as you are. So that's where your value comes in. Yeah. So for me, as an example, if you like, when I train somebody, they sell more. Therefore, there's more revenue in their business or for their job. So it's a nice, easy one for me. I can show you 20 years worth of experience, 3 books worth of knowledge, etc., etc. And from that, you'll be able to sell more. Therefore, you and your job or your business will make more money. So there's the value for me. Yeah. You'll know what your own value is and what you do, whatever you offer people or what your job is. You'll know that, but don't convince yourself that value means money. Okay. Again, urgency, pick up on the cost thing. If they see the value, but you don't convince them of the urgency, they'll buy eventually. which is fine because we need customers for every month of the year. But actually, like I said, if you're in the conversation with them now, you can't want to do it now. There is a generally idea that actually, if you think about a graph going up, when you're having a conversation with somebody about sales and your product and when they want all that kind of stuff, that's when they're most excited. The minute you walk out of that meeting or you come off that call, that graph starts to go down again. The further away that goes from that, the longer you leave it, the less interested they are. Or the worst case scenario, you've convinced them it's a good idea, but you didn't close them, so they phoned somebody else and did it with them. Yeah, so just be careful not to kind of miss that opportunity. Yeah. Now I know lots of people who don't generally work in sales aren't keen on the whole idea of asking for the money, if you like, doing that like fine little close. So let me give you a couple of different versions. Rather than saying, that's great, we can do that, please sign here for the money, talk to them about, okay, so have you got a budget in mind? Or what's your time scale on this? Because that's a nice softer lead into, okay, well, I can fit that time scale for you, but now you can close again. Yeah. So if you're don't feel comfortable outright asking for the sale, there's a couple of little phrases you can use there that can lead into it, where they'll go, well, actually, I've got 2 weeks or whatever it is. Yeah. So there's a couple of ways to do it. Now, I'm going to guess, because we're on with this, that most of us are doing networking events these days, and probably online. Yeah. I get stuck in loads. I was for one in Wales yesterday morning, 8 o'clock. But so we've all heard, we've all done the 60-second networking pitch or elevator pitch, whatever you want to call it. It's that basically 1 minute where you have to explain to somebody quickly what you do and how it helps them. And I'm sure we've all seen it. People do this sort of thing. They'll go, hi, I'm Stuart from so-and-so, reading off their phone or a bit of paper, which is awful. If you can't talk about your job or your business for 60 seconds without looking at a script, you've probably got a bit of a hurdle there. Yeah. But when you do those, so if you've got a minute to tell somebody what you do, be it on networking or wherever, break it down to 4 things. So introduce yourself, literally, this is my name, this is what I do. Second part, a bigger version of this is what I do. Third part is this is how it helps you. This is why you should care. This is why you should want to speak to me. This is the benefit you're going to get from me. And then the fourth part is, great, here's my business card, or I'll put my details in the chat or whatever else it is. Don't get caught up in the whole reciting your brochure thing. If you imagine, and we've all done it, you sit on a networking event with 20, 25 people, and they all do a minute worth of talking, and you're the 25th one. If you've not lost the will to live by then there's something wrong. 25 people reciting their brochure, and you've got to come next. While the guy who started the first one has dozed off because it was all so exciting, So sales is really about having a conversation, finding out what problem they're facing, seeing if you can fix it with what you offer, or what your company offers, or what your business offers, showing them some value, showing them that doing it now is a good idea rather than waiting 6 months. When you've got a process, follow it, stick to it. You may have to tweak it now and again, but if on the ones where you don't get it, as I said, don't panic. Just have a little look at why you think that didn't work that time. Yeah, if you follow those 5 things, it's a pretty good start and foundation into what you're looking at and how you're going to get some sales. I always joke, and I'll probably say this to you, Orlando, when we talk, sales is a life skill. I'll tell you a quick story and then I'll be quiet for a minute. My 17-year-old son, a couple of years ago, I get an email from his school telling me that he's got a detention for not doing geography homework. So I ring him, mate, come on, what are you doing? He went, I'll sort it, Dad. So what he does, next morning, he goes into school, and he collars the geography teacher on the way into class. Excuse me, sir. Has a chat with him. By the time he's finished talking, not only has he got out of the detention, he's been given 3 days more to do his homework. I know I shouldn't be proud, but he's the son of a sales trainer, so I can't really argue, can I? But when you have those things and you follow those 5 things and you put the value in, but don't ever panic about not getting a sale. No means just not today. Unless they say, never darken my door again or I'll sue you, it just means not today. It's just not the right time. So keep in touch, do some follow-up, get them next time. And if you're working for yourself or you're working for somebody else doing this, do yourself a little favor and do yourself a flow chart of your current sales process, because it's the easiest way in the world to see if it works and see what's missing.
Well, thank you very much for that, Stuart. There are some absolutely brilliant reminders in there. Huh?
I'm going to sit this again now.
Anyone would think you're the sales trainer. The sales trainer.
I know.
I'm seeing it all over your screen, mate.
So what does it do? Who am I again?
Well, Stuart, thank you very much for that very brief and to the point presentation of what sales can be, and it very quickly kills a few sacred cows for people that have concerns over, quite frankly, what sales is not. So further from today, at the end of this video, I will be posting details so that you can get in contact with Stuart. He's even got one of those fancy little boxy squarey things that takes you directly to his diary if you want to catch up with him. But the details will be at the end of this video. So thank you very much, Stuart.
My absolute pleasure.